Are two hands really better than one? We're about to find out as PBA All-Star Weekend kicks off with the first of its kind event, the one-handers versus the two-handers. Will the likes of Jason Belmonte and Kyle Crew prove once and for all that two-handed bowling is the future of the sport? Or will traditional players like E.J. Tackett, Andrew Anderson, and Chris Prather prevail? Find out next as PBA All-Star Weekend begins on FS1. Welcome to Wisconsin and welcome to PBA All-Star Weekend like you have never seen it before. For the first time, it's the one-handers versus the two-handers. The top 10 players at the end of the World Championships. 5 one-handers, 5 two-handers. Your captain, E.J. Tackett for the one-handers and Jason Belmonte for the two-handers. Let's meet the teams. Here's Mike J.
Introducing the one-handers. Leading off, a 6-time PBA champion with 2 majors, Chris Prather. Rolling second, an 8-time PBA champion with 1 major, Jacob Buttra. The man in the middle, a 5-time PBA champion with 1 major, AA, Andrew Anderson. The captain of the one-handers, rolling fourth, 27 PBA Tour titles, 7 majors, 3-time Player of the Year, E.J. Tackett. The anchor owns 2 PBA Tour titles with 1 major, Graham Foxx.
Come on, boys. Come on.
Introducing the two-handed lineup. Leading off, the captain, the all-time majors king with 15, 32 PBA Tour titles, the 7-time Player of the Year, Jason Belmonte. Bowling second, PBA singles and doubles champion, Matt Ogle. The man in the middle has made 5 television appearances this season, 3rd of the PBA World Championship, Tim Foy Jr. Rolling fourth, the 2021 U.S. Open champion, Chris Vai. And the anchor, a 12-time PBA Tour winner with 2 majors, Kyle Troop.
Let's go, boys. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go.
You're pumped now, aren't you? Welcome, everybody, along with Hall of Famer Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler. I am Dave Lamont. Let the crowd honor his greatness.
Thank you.
All right, we had Lincoln Douglas, JFK versus Nixon, one-handers versus two-handers. The 3 biggest debates of all time, Randy. And today, we're going to see one of these maybe solved.
You know, almost 2 decades ago, a young Australian arrives in America and literally turned the bowling world upside down with his revolutionary two-handed style. And the debate began. Belmo reigned as #1 for years on the PBA Tour, the winningest player in major championship history here in 2023, beating one-hander E.J. Tackett en route to capturing his 15th major. But there's a new king atop the throne, and that king is one-hander E.J. Tackett. Here's EJ just a couple of weeks ago in Reno, capturing another world championship, beating Jason Belmonte. He absolutely owned the World Series of Bowling this season. The #1 player in the world is looking for his 3rd consecutive Player of the Year honor. So yeah, I mean, which is better, 1 or 2 hands? That's debatable.
Revolutionary two-handed. That was clever. I see how you did there. You know what? They are both standing by right now with Kimberly Pressler.
Thanks, Dave. So, EJ, you and Jason have a pretty intense rivalry, but today maybe even more so because you guys are both captains on very different style teams. So how is it you're going to take the win for the one-handers today?
Well, I know for me, I'm going to have to draw from some of these guys have won the Elias Cup before. It's something I never got to do, but I'm going to maybe lean on the MVP from last year a little bit and hopefully use that momentum and take these guys down today.
Sounds like a good plan. Good luck to you guys today. And Jason, you know, there has been a lot of talk over the past few years about two-handers dominating the sport, but only one two-hander has won this season thus far. So how do you guys make it #2 today?
Yeah, good question. Ultimately, I think the pins don't really care how you throw it. So whether you're one or two-handed, if you're bowling great, you're gonna knock them over and you're gonna win. So in order to win today, because don't get me wrong, I want to win today. You know, I think just as EJ said, you know, we've got I think the most winning Elias Cup member of all time in Carl Trube on our team, and so you know he's going to definitely lead the charge in that anchor spot, and I'm looking forward to bowling with him today.
Good luck to you guys today.
Thanks.
All right, EJ, Bomo, and Kimberly, thank you very much. You realize this is some television history right now in the sport of bowling. This is the first time that we've ever had a string pin event on national television. And Randy, it is a significant day.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. Today, our players are using the QubicaAMF Edge String Pin Spotter, which is already being used on more than 17,000 bowling lanes worldwide. Pins are consistently on spot, there's no deadwood, and with on-demand pin setting, bowlers can easily set up specific shots to practice. Edge string is cost-effective, easy to operate, and uses less power than a household coffee maker. That's right. Sanctioned by the USBC and approved by the PBA, Edge String is making its television debut with our pros during PBA All-Star Weekend.
And that weekend powered by QubicaAMF Edge String Pin Spotter. Here's the lineup of the one-handers as chosen by EJ Tackett. Chris Prater to start. Jacob Buttriff #2, Andrew Anderson 3, EJ 4, and Graham Foxx 5. Of course, in this Baker format, you only get 2 frames, so you got to make them good. And 7 pin stays for Chris. By the way, this will be 1 lane per game in this race to 3. It's best of 5. First to 3 will be declared the winner in this 1 versus 2. First time matchup, and again, first time the string pins featured on national television. If the game is tied after 4, we'll have a little shootout. And no trouble at all for Prater with the 7.
And I think the thing to watch for today, Dave, is pinfall, pin carry. Talking with the players, I think a lot of them agree that a little bit more honest pin carry. You don't see those rolled 2 pins, trip 2 8-10s. Although that first opening shot by Prater, solid 7, that wasn't very nice.
This is an interesting decision here that Jason put himself in the leadoff position. Solid 4. And also that EJ didn't take the anchor position either. He put himself in the #4. So the 2 captains making some interesting calls to start.
Well, I think for EJ and the one-handed team, that's because of the only southpaw on today's telecast. That's Graham Faw. Excuse me. They have 2 southpaws, Faw and Buttriff.
And no trouble for Belmo, so both teams starting with a spare in the opening frame.
I got that a little in, but I definitely thought it might have shimmed across there.
So apparently Graham Faw's look a little bit better than Jake's. He's in the #2 spot. Faw will be anchoring. We'll see what kind of advantage it is for the one-handers to have the 2 southpaws.
flush hit for Butters. Great crowd here, by the way. These folks were lined up more than 2 hours before the show began. 3 hours.
That big cupped wrist for Jacob Buttriff, creating that power.
Well, Matt Ogle has really become a prominent player in the PBA.
And the great debate, one-handers versus two-handers. Only one two-handers won in 2025 on the PBA Tour, and that was Santu.
And he is not here. Again, to qualify for this, I mentioned at the top of the show, these are the top 10 players ranked in the PBA World Championship chase. It just so happened by points that there were 5 one-handers and 5 two-handers, because 11 and 12 were both two-handers. Just really good luck. That came through the face just a touch. Andrew Anderson, who was the top seed at the U.S. Open.
Three.
Nope. Got a little too heavy on the 3 there. Well, if either of the teams on today's show bowl a perfect game, everyone in America can receive a free game of bowling courtesy of Go Bowling. Pre-register, visit GoBowling.com and sign up for the Go Bowling Free America promotion. And Tim Foyt Jr. almost got that 4-pin out of there.
I came in and watched for about 2 hours yesterday, and I saw that, I believe, more than once, where that kind of light blower 4-pin.
An expression I've never heard you use before.
Yeah, I'll take a mulligan.
Yep. Pass right in front of the 4. And Tim Foyt Jr. having a wonderful season.
Boy, is he ever. Breakout season for Tim Foyt Jr.
The guy who had to get his tour card the hard way last year by going through that insane 4-day process. This guy didn't have to do that.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's been doing that quite a lot over the past 3 seasons.
And there's no player better with a better understanding of string pins than EJ. They are in his centers in Indiana. So he has a little bit of an edge, I think, on anybody else here. And he is a huge fan. And perfection from Chris Vise, speaking of people who are having great years.
Well, the Edge string machine's honestly born out of necessity. With the lack of qualified mechanics and the complexity of the freefall machines.
And grand foul rips the 10 out.
You know, these Edge string machines were inevitable to help further the sport.
And they're growing.
Yeah.
Around the world, not just in the United States.
All over the world, 17,000 plus.
Come on.
If everybody knows how to work a crowd, it's this man right here, Kyle Troop. Oh, yes, sir. Halfway through the first of our Baker games in this race for 3, the two-handers versus the one-handers. Kyle Troop gets him going. EJ Tackett trying to continue the winning, and the man who brought the two-handed bowling to this country, Jason Belmonte, with a strong team led by Ogle and Troop. The PBA on FS1 is sponsored by Go Bowling. For friends and family fun, log on to GoBowling.com to find a center near you.
All right, let's take a look at the 42-foot LBC oil pattern. Right-handers already making it look like they're going to play the middle part of the lane. The two southpaws for the one-handed team will have the left side of the lane to themselves. They'll play a little bit further to the outside part.
All right, there you have it. And we want to thank Kegel of Powered. Oil pattern today, the 42-footer for our competition. Enthusiastic audience. Of course, Wisconsin always turns out for big events. We go to the top of the sixth. One-handers lead off Chris Prather. This will be his last frame of this game. And it's...
Wow.
I'm going to need y'all to keep that going, not right when I go in.
Back-to-back flush shots for Prather, leaves the stone 7, then follows it up with a stone 9.
I thought we were going to get rid of those. Wishful thinking.
Tour average 97.5%.
Much better.
And once again, getting all of our great numbers and stats from our good friends at Lane Talk. For more information, head on over to lanetalk.com and download the free app.
Nobody better than our friends at Lane Talk. We appreciate everything they do. Belmo, 9 spare. First time up.
Working on a double.
First split of the day.
You can already see some of the carry with the string pins versus free fall. No trip 4, no trip 9. Instead, it's the 4-9. Pretty simple. Only one way to really make this, and that's to cut the 4 over into the 9.
Solid.
Doesn't do it, and now a nice opening for the one-handers.
You see the max scores now. The one-handers have the opportunity to win this first point if they go off the sheet. Oh, he slow rolled that one just a touch.
Little rack swisher. See that high rev rate, 460 for Jacob Buttriff, using the thumb and a lot of wrist. Biggest difference I see early on with the Edge string machines is the pins look a little heavier. Same exact weight though.
Okay. Oh, go. And a 3-6-10. Second one of those we've seen today.
Inside miss. But just the 3-6-10.
This should be interesting.
Now we had this missed earlier. And again.
It's almost like he called it.
Yeah, you know, it's exactly what Andrew Anderson did. A little heavy on the 3.
String help there. Yeah, I was waiting for it. I know.
So now the one-hander's in a really good position. If Anderson can get a team double here in our Baker format. Like that.
That one stopped right in the perfect spot in front of the 1-3.
When you see that ball take out the 8 and the 9.
Big time double. Now it's 22-pin lead. How quickly things change after back-to-back open frames for the two-handers.
We'll see what Tim Foy Jr. can do. Tim with a 9 spare first time up. There you go. Drive that 9 out of there.
All right, so now the one-hander leaves the stone 9. The two-hander trips the 9.
Yep, good point. A lot of rev rate on this, obviously. And that was the head pin that took it out. Or you just don't leave any doubts.
big miss inside for E.J. Tackett. And catches a nice break, tripping the 4. Now the lead is 32. Vi can cut it to 22 with a strike here. Look at the max scores right there.
Right, but he broke up the impossible dream, the two-way 10, as just a single pin to shoot at.
Made the move. Didn't think I needed to.
This is a huge break and one that I didn't think we'd see a lot of. 2-8-10 standing and then trips the 2-8 out.
Edpin super active on that 9th frame, but real trouble here for the two-handers. And just 7 pins for the one-handers to take the first of our points in the race to 3. Oh, man, was that good. Absolute wraparound on the 7 on a beautiful shot from Graham, but they've already got it.
Flex on it.
And the one-handers have the first point in the race to 3.
You know, the players might try to downplay this one-handed versus two-handed contest, but make no mistake about it. Both sides want to win this.
They might have downplayed it right up until 11 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah.
And as soon as they stepped under the lights for real, there's no question that the competition kicks in. And there might be some friendly trash talk, and there will be, and there has been already. But yeah, I'm with you on that, partner. This is, and we've never done this before.
No.
This is professional bowling history right here in more ways than one.
Wow, look at that thing peel off. That thing really peeled off the corner.
Where you get that first? That game, boys. Back out.
Look at that 4-pin barely catches a piece of the 7. Game 1 going to the one-handers.
So a little bit of a learning experience for the two-handers. Now, both captains have the right, if they choose, to shuffle the lineup a little bit. I don't be surprised if EJ did it, but maybe Belmo is thinking about moving a body or two in place. We'll see for game number 2. And there's how you pick it up. I wonder, Randy, and I know the pro bowlers are not fond of 3-6-10s. I wonder if under the strings, you really are going to have to dump that in the pocket from now on.
We've seen the players the last couple of years change the way they actually shoot the 3-6-10. The right-handers actually throw a little bit of a backup ball at it. Kyle's looking at another ball here for game 2.
And we might see that one in game 2. We'll see.
Nice little slippage there. All right, boys.
So a victory for 1/2 in game number 1. Can the two-handers rally to tie it up? All right, All-Star Weekend continues, powered by QubicaAMF Edge String Pins. We welcome everybody back here on FS1, and we're joined by our special guest this weekend, Darren Tang. And if there's anybody, Randy, more qualified to explain the pros and cons of one versus two-handed, it's you, Darren. You made a dramatic change in your career when you went from one to two hands. Why'd you do it?
Yeah, it's actually way more technical than people may know. I don't know, do we want to get into that? Well, the technicalities, my feet move kind of slow. I know Randy's highlighted that in the shows in the past that I've made. My third step's pretty slow. So bowling two-handed, my feet just move. So that was kind of the main thing. Obviously, power, more ball speed for me. I know ball speed's typically a harder thing for most new two-handers to get, but for me, I throw it a little bit faster. So just less to think about.
Darren, what about touch when going from one hand to two?
Oh man, 0.
way less touch.
I wouldn't say 0, but it's definitely harder to control my ball speed right now. I feel like it's just because it's really new. So we'll give it some time and see where it goes.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how do you think it's working out? Do you have any regrets at all, or do you think this is the right decision?
I've had moments where I've been like, I can bowl pretty well on whatever we're bowling on one-handed, but I've committed. I'm going full steam. It's actually been a lot better than anticipated. So I can't say I'm happy with the results, but I'm not too upset.
All right, what did you think of what you saw from match number 1?
Well, after Andrew missed that spare, I thought two-handers are better spare shooters. But after the one-handers took match number 1, it feels like it's more maybe two-handers versus the strings instead of one versus two hands. I don't know.
Did you see an advantage for one hand or two based on pin carry?
I think strings require a little more attention to ball motion. So whether you're one or two-handed, I don't think it really matters.
You think the pocket gets a little smaller?
I feel like your angles have to be a little better.
All right, well, we'll get more on in Darren in just a moment when we get to our second game. But it's time for this week's edition of Pressing Questions with Kimberly Pressler, presented by Go Bowling. And this is one I'm really excited about. Who has the best swing on the tour?
Jason, in your opinion, who would you say has the most picture-perfect swing on tour?
Picture perfect. I've often said that if I could or if I had to bowl one-handed, I would want to bowl like BJ Moore. If I'm not bowling and I get to come and watch bowling, I look for BJ. I just want to watch him bowl.
I would say Dominic Barrett. I've always looked up to Dom. He's always been an idol of mine, and I just love the way he throws it.
Well, I've got to buy him beer for that now, haven't I? But he is English, and I'm older than him, so it's a respect thing. So, yeah, thanks, Richie.
It would have to be a left-hander, so that would be kind of cool to be able to throw it like a left-hander. I would have to go with Graham Faw. I think he's the best left-hander on tour.
Sean, who would you say has the most perfect swing out on tour?
I'm going to have to say Chris Prather.
Chris Prather.
Chris Prather. Chris Prather.
Chris Prather.
Chris Prather.
Chris Prather.
All right, I'll pick myself. I'll go with the crowd. I'll be a sheep.
Everything about what he does is picture perfect.
It's the most effortless swing. When he gets going, he can continue to do it over and over again. Doesn't even look like he's trying sometimes.
It honestly is ridiculous how good that swing is. We all emulate or try to emulate it at some point in time.
The fact that a lot of guys look to my physical game as like either a coaching tool or like, man, I'd really like to throw it like that. You know, makes me feel nice in the heart a little bit.
What about two-handers?
Two-handers, no, I hate every two-hander. I hope they all trip and fall on the way over to the building today.
What about two-hander?
Belmo. And whenever I'm doing coaching, a two-hander, I'm like, go watch Belmo because he's perfected it. Try to do the things that he does.
Of course I have to say myself. Why would I want to bowl like anyone else? But if I had to bowl like another two-hander, I think I would like to bowl like... No, there's not. There's no one else out there. Sorry, boy.
That's great.
And there he is right there. All right, let's go around the room here real quickly, guys. Randy, your pick would be?
One-hander?
Yeah, just best swing.
I've got BJ Moore and Chris Prather.
Darren?
Honestly, I'm going to take my brother, Michael Tang.
Not bad. I actually have gone on the record saying BJ Moore, so... There has been a lineup change for the two-handers. We'll see it in a moment as Belmo starts off game 2 with a pocket pounder as Darren joins us.
Bowl like me.
Darren joins us at the table.
D-Lane, I'm telling you.
Well, now, after all of that, all those compliments, if he doesn't throw a flush strike right now, a little pressure on you there, Chris.
And, of course, we're all right when we pick Prather.
Hi, boys. That one was a little right.
You know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's like you could place a plate of food on top of Prather's head, and he wouldn't spill a bite. And then he creates all that power just effortlessly. I wonder if I could get the 5 out on these edge string machines.
Are you announcing your comeback right now?
No.
Okay.
And another 9-pin.
Randy, would you come back two-handed?
If I were to come back, it would be two-handed. Yeah, I got tired of leaving flat 10s with a 16-pound ball on tour, so yeah.
I'll tell you what, I can leave a flat 10, one or two-handed, so.
You know, you don't live that far from Walter Ray. He can help you out. All right. Cleanly done.
You had mentioned the fact that EJ Tackett actually has these edge string machines in his centers. And EJ actually told me yesterday, he said, it's made him a better bowler. He says you got to make better shots and you got to get your ball to go through the pins way better. Pocket gets smaller.
Butters broke up a split, leaving just a single pin.
Darren, your biggest challenge, we spoke about it a little bit briefly at the desk, but going from 1 to 2, I watched you throw the shot from the Masters. Your form actually looks great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think right now the over-the-top miss, you know, where the elbow kind of comes out, my hand comes over the top of the ball, gets a lot of rotation. That's been the toughest part, keep my hand behind the ball a little more.
What do you think creates that? Is it because you get a little quick in the downswing? Is it a timing thing?
I think it's a common two-hander miss. I think my shoulder just kind of
shuts down,
collapses a little quick, and then the elbow flies out with it. So Chris actually here does that really well. He keeps that shoulder nice and tight.
And this is a lineup switch from Jason Belmonte, the captain. Vi in the 3 spot, Tim Foy Jr. in the 4. Ooh.
Maybe not enough over the top on that shot.
Yeah, not getting it back from that part of the lane.
It did seem like there was a little spot developing on the right lane that they're competing on that the two-handers were struggling with towards the end of the game.
Yeah, we have changed lanes. We're only using 1 lane per game. Now, this ought to be an interesting one with strings. This is never fun to begin with.
Try to cover all 4 pins with the ball.
Yeah.
Spare's even harder on strings.
Did not do as Randy said.
No, he didn't get it far enough to the left. But typically, you throw a hook into that spare, the 1, 2, 4, 7, and then the ball deflects off the head pin and then covers the last 3 pins on the way. What a year this guy's having, Darren.
Yeah, Andrew's actually come back from an injury, which I feel like a handful of guys that are bowling right now have recovered from nicely. So it's really cool to see Andrew with the company switch as well, having the success he's having.
And right on cue, following Darren's remark.
And as every professional bowler knows, and every pro athlete, confidence is everything. And Andrew's got a ton of that right now.
He's bowling amazing. It's very, very fun to watch.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, I don't know if anybody mentioned his swing. It's awfully sweet.
Yeah, he's got that kind of that old school throwback, high backswing.
And a quitter 10 there for Tim.
First flat 10 we've seen.
Boys, this is meant to be the easy lane.
1 or 2, the string pins don't discriminate.
Two-handers down early. Down 1-0 in the overall battle, and this race to 3.
Guys, any chance of this being a one-hander sweep?
I probably just gotta get. Yeah, I could probably just get a little softer.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I don't think so. I think the two-handers, I think their looks are going to start to get a little bit better as the lanes transition.
42-foot pattern we're on here. That
guy's
hurt
good.
my ears. That really hurt.
Wow. It's just good no matter what for that guy.
Almost fell down.
And just complete dominance at this year's World Series. As you take a look at how he creates all that power when he cups that elbow and wrist in the downswing and then makes it a straight line to get the ball into the floor. It's like throwing a yo-yo. That's what creates all those revs and power for EJ Tackett.
And it's funny, you watch him all year as we have, guys, and it seems like it doesn't matter what the pattern is. Doesn't matter what everything calls for. Doesn't matter the center. It's just lather, rinse, repeat for this guy right now.
I've come to the conclusion that he's just got bowling figured out.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
He's not figuring out patterns. It's just bowling.
Yep. just to be in complete control of his body week in and week out. It's truly amazing.
And Kyle's, now this is going to be another one. 3-6-10 has yet to be converted. Well, we had one conversion.
Yeah.
But we've had 2 misses. Now 3-10. And almost that noise like somebody's backing up a golf cart.
Oh, the French fries are done.
Oh, I hear they're good here too. So we're going to just wait until that settles.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mechanics stay up front in this bowling center.
And we have coming up tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern Time, the United Football League Week 2 is going to cap off as the San Antonio Brahmas will take on the St. Louis Battlehawks. 6:30 Eastern only on FS1. And the beeping continues, unfortunately. This is out of our hands.
Yeah, the Qubica guy got up.
So while we're waiting for the beeping to stop, let's get Motive on top here in the Elite League standing. Storm's beginning to make a move.
Yep.
And Brunswick a solid third ahead of 900 Global. Then Rotogrip and Hammer swapping spots. And DB8 in 7th, Ebonite in 8th. The new PBA Elite League Battle of the Brands will have bowling ball manufacturers against each other in a season-long competition. So we're going to take a break and stop the beeping with the one-handers already up 1-0 and with the edge through 4.5 here on FS1 PBA All-Star Weekend, powered by QubicaAMF's Edge String Pin Spotter. So during the break, Kyle Troop went ahead and went after the 310 here, Randy.
Yeah, this time misses the 3-pin. Again, the 310 is like shooting the 3-6-10. Cover both with the bowling ball. You can cut the 3 into the 10, not recommended.
So the lead for the one-handers widens as they go to their anchor man here, Graham Fa, who's looked pretty good so far.
Real good. We saw him get a shot in game 1 a little bit wide, and it just ripped back. But that was on the left lane.
Well, he seems extremely comfortable. Cooling off his thumb.
All right, so let me just clarify. We're bowling on a right lane and a left lane. So this is the left lane on the pair to the right of the left lane. If the ball return was in the middle, it would be the right lane.
I'm understanding and confused at the same time.
And now here's Belmont.
All right, so here's the right lane, but it's left of the lane that Graham just bowled on.
Uh-oh. Well, how about some more TV history?
I've been told that it can be made on string pins.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
Do I put my thumb back in the ball?
Would you go after this one-handed?
Absolutely. The spare shooting is going to be one-handed for the rest of the time.
Either one.
Right, and no. Didn't quite work out for there, so real problems now for the
Look, if we're
two-handers.
going to have a bad game, we might as well put it all together in one.
time.
Do not strike. Throw it horrible and get it out of here.
That's interesting captainship there. I think, but he does have the only strike, Belmont. That was when they opened the game. Oh my!
Hey, that's one too many.
Oh, my bad.
Right there.
I think he just touched his thumb.
Well, I thought it was interesting that Buttriff had a thumbs up, or one of the bowlers had a thumb up after making a shot, like, guess what I used in my ball and you didn't?
When the two-handers were introduced, they all came out holding up 2 fingers.
Yep.
It wasn't a peace sign, trust me.
There you go.
9 goes down. So, Darren, based on what you watched, how you watch the players warm up, two-handers look like they start off pretty deep. Will this pattern hold up? And when it does transition to force the players farther in, you would think that would favor the higher rev players.
You would definitely think so, and not using your thumb actually gets the ball to get through the front of the lane cleaner, so that ideally gets a little more downline motion for you. So you would think going to the lane, or going into game 3, the two-handers
There we go.
ideally would have the advantage, but you know, these are 10 of the best players on tour right now. They're able to figure it out. The one-handers also have 2 lefties, so I think that could be a bit of an advantage as well.
You may have seen that match in Illinois. It's on to the only two-handed winner on tour in 2025. Okay, got a huge break, obviously, with the dropping to 10.
Second time he's tripped out the 2-8-10.
Thank you.
Well, game 2 all but over.
Two-handed.
You know, normally it's an insult when you tell somebody they're all thumbs, but not so far.
I don't know what was better, that comment or Darren's "the fries are done."
I think ding, fries are done would probably take care of it.
Pretty good.
It's a very familiar sound.
That clean wipe presented by Dude Wipes. Thank you, Chris, for providing that for us.
No fear, all clear.
We've seen some Dude Wipe logos somewhere.
Yes, they are prominently displayed on one of our bowlers, and we'll leave it at that.
Oh, yes!
We got the roll, too!
Yeah, even Andrews is surprised at trip the 2.
Somebody yelled out power to the thumb.
Pin and string.
I think that's a lesson for all of us.
Yeah, softer.
Well, let's see what kind of flush shot EJ throws this time.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, I don't know, perfect in the pocket, like right in between the 1 and the 3 perfectly.
That is entry angle.
That's a nice way of putting it, Darren, because I think sometimes people aren't 100% sure what that means, but it is a little surprising, Darren and Randy, that we've got a blowout in this game. Not even close. The two-handers even having a tough time making spares.
I think sometimes people don't see that this is a Baker format, and the players are only throwing 2 shots apiece per game. So getting into a rhythm is kind of tough if you're not firing on all cylinders the entire time as a team. Baker games could get really tricky.
Yeah, but one team is and one team isn't.
Yeah. Well, Jason Belmonte could always fall back on the great line by the late John McKay when he coached the early Tampa Bay Bucks, and they were really bad. And they asked him, what do you think about your team's execution? And McKay said, I'm in favor of it.
Returning the favor when it matters the least.
Yeah. It's like striking out of the fill shot.
You know they're all
when it
going
doesn't
down.
matter. You know,
100%.
Yeah, you know it's going to strike.
I think it's funny there's not a lot of talking right now, but they're doing it with body language.
So the one-handers will have a 2-0 lead. And somebody was yelling, pick it out, trying to get Kyle going with the pick, which just so happens to be in his back pocket. Will Belmo make another lineup change? Is he going to leave things as it is as they try to avoid being swept? And Grandpa's got it going on today.
One of the most improved players on tour, Graham Faw, and you saw it, talked about it a couple of weeks ago, where he really started to look like he was coming on in the league series. Increased his rev rate, added a little ball speed, had a couple more tricks with his release, and it's really paid off for Graham.
He's another guy that's kind of coming off an injury. So he was hurt for a while. You see that brace he's wearing on his forearm. I think him and I have a similar thing with Baller's elbow. Golfer's elbow, kind of one and the same. Just a version of tendonitis, but he's bouncing back very strong off that injury.
So Graham will have one more to shoot at, and we'll wrap up the second game with the one-handers on the verge of a clinch, of a sweep, which I don't think any of us would have thought was going to happen today.
No one saw that coming.
No, and it may not, but we'll see. The two-handers have got to pick it up and pick it up fast.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Well, guys, you know who would really love this show today? Cisco and Ebert, 2 thumbs up and a 2-0 lead for the one-handers over the two-handers. Can the two-handers stay alive? We'll find out when we come back on FS1. And welcome back to the 2025 All-Star Weekend powered by QubicaAMF Edge String Pin Spotter. And don't forget, Strike Derby is coming up tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern on FS1. In 2020, Chris Prather was the winner. And then last year, it's Jesper Svensson taking it down in 2024, defeating Andrew Anderson at Bayside in Maine. Darren Tang joining Randy Peterson and myself. Kimberly Pressler, of course, is here as well. The guys were in a position we didn't think we were going to be in, but right now the one-handers are dominating.
Yeah, they're smoking them right now. They're getting the ball to the pocket more consistently, making better shots, and less open frames. They're making their spares a little bit better.
And that leads us right into our Bowl TV highlights from the first 2 games, guys.
Belmonte started off a little shaky, 9 spare frame 1, but then a 4-9 for his second shot. Ogle, same kind of problems where he misses the 3-6-10. Buttrow, there's a nice little mixture strike for Jakey. And then Andrew Anderson, after his first shot being an open frame, comes back nicely. Game 2, it was E.J. Tackett. By the way, guys, E.J. Tackett perfect with his 4 shots today. Another shot from Andrew. You like that one, Darren?
I like that a lot.
What about this one?
I mean, Graham's been great all day. I think that was a smart play, putting a lefty in the 5.
And then the smooth stroke in Prather. Dominant performance, game 2. They went 269, 181. And then EJ just being EJ.
So who would have thought this could be a sweep? I'll tell you who didn't think that way. Kyle Troop. He is standing by with Kimberly.
Thanks, Dave. So, Kyle, you guys are in a must-win situation. During the break, what did you and your team talk about to get you on track?
Well, the first thing we talked about was we need to make some better shots. Our lane play decisions and, shot making those first 2 games didn't really work out too well for us. But we do know the lanes have transitioned, and two-handers are pretty good when the lanes start to hook. So, we're not out yet, but we definitely got to put some better shots together.
You had a lineup change when you went to the left. Now you're going back to the right. Are you guys having another one?
We're tweaking it up a little bit again. We're going to get Belmo a little bit later in the lineup. Flip a few players around. Some, seeing it better than others. But when it comes down to it, we need 2 good shots each for a couple games.
Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
All right, left is the right. What is it again?
She said left and right. Darren's still confused. That ball return, man, it just kind of screws everything up.
I'm just messing with you.
We all mess with Randy. Trust me, it's a sport around here. So, can the two-handers stay alive? They got to win this one, or that's the end of it. It'll be a clean sweep for the one-handers right here at PBA All-Star Weekend. Bowling television history being made today. And the PBA is proud to have Bowlers to Veterans Link as the official charity of the PBA Tour. Today's BVL Salute to Veterans. We welcome U.S. Marines and U.S. Army Sergeant Ron Woodard, who served us for 16 years. Thank you, sir, for your service. And to donate, please go to bbl.org.
Thank you, Ron. Thanks for being here.
Well, the one-handers have dominated so far. The last game was a blowout. We now go for what could be the final game. The two-handers have got to win, or that's it.
This guy's just a true bowler, man. He's got the rosin all over his pants. Digs those fingers and that thumb into that ball and then just pures it.
Randy, was that an ad for one-handed bowling?
No, Chris Prather's shot was an ad for one-handed bowling.
Yeah, that was pretty perfect.
All right, so a lineup change here at the top. Chris Vai's taking the leadoff position. Belmo's going to bat second. Perfection from Vi. A little feistiness perhaps from the two-handers.
And Darren, after 2 games of transition, do the two-handers just move in and knock the snot out of it?
Oh, yeah, they're getting into that deep zone. That's about 5th arrow for Christopher there. I could imagine most of the two-handers are going to be in the same zone. But the one-handers do have 3 of the best guys at hooking it on tour right now. So we'll see what happens.
And kick on the 7.
And that right/left lane looks pretty good on the outside part of the lane for the lefties.
Man, I'm just confused again.
There's the lineup change. Ogle bowled the first game in 4th, and Foy the first game in the 3 position. They swapped in game 2. That stays the same, and Kyle is still batting 5th and 10th.
But yes, Randy, the left looks pretty good still. I think on both lanes, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, and chewing on it.
All right, fellas.
Yeah, about the same spot as Chris there, maybe a little bit further right at the arrows, but a touch steeper to create a bit more angle. Much needed double.
Haven't had many doubles, the two-handed team so far today.
If there was a time, now's the time.
1 double in game 1. And a late 4-bagger in game 2. That's it for the two-handers.
Yeah, and by that time, game 2 had already been settled.
There's a guy that can get in and spin it.
Oh, yeah. The one-handed righties getting into that same zone. 24.5 for Andrew. It's going to be a shootout here. Who can make the shots? Who can get them to fall down the most times?
And the other problem the two-handers have had, quite honestly, has been spare execution. And here's one that has been a trick spare today, 3-6-10.
You would think it'd be easier, right? They don't have that thumb to clear. Just comes off the hand.
All right, are you changing your mind right now, Darren? Are you going to go back to one-handed? I don't know.
I mean, Randy's got me a little confused right now, so I think I'm just confused about my life, period.
Why? Because left lane, right lane?
What about the middle lane?
Missed it again?
There you go.
On the outside.
We call that textbook.
We call that a clean wipe presented by Dude Wipes.
You call this textbook? No, I'm confused.
Yeah, for those watching, it's not actually textbook. That's just us bowlers being sarcastic out there.
Which normally never happens.
Oh, never. Perfect shot. Oh, did I just jinx it?
Messenger in front.
I'm just trying to help my fellow two-handers out.
It's not you anymore.
Yeah, you're right. I'm confused.
You're going back to one hand.
I could play both sides of the fiddle here.
Got A.J. Johnson rooting for the one-handers in the background. He's team one-handed, of course.
Hey, guys, getting back to Ogle, I think he got a really good break just leaving the 3-6-10. Because I think the 7 got yanked down.
It did. Yeah, at the very, very last second.
There's a lot of good things that happened there. technically missed, still got the spare, broke up the split. They're still in the match.
Let me say it on your behalf. That is entry angle, is that right?
It was just enough to get the 10 out. So yes, I'm going to have to agree, Dave.
All right. Darren Tang joining us in the booth.
You know, and as a purist, you might hate the two-handed style. You might hate these string machines, but I got something for you after Graham throws his shot.
Ruh-roh.
That is huge for the two. Oh.
8-pin fell late, not sure if it's going to be respotted.
And it is.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Just seemed to touch late, Randy. I don't think they were going to give that one to him.
He knew he missed it from the start.
Bad time for that to happen when they have the lead. Now the lead goes to the two-handers. But guys, I think in just watching game 3 of these edge string machines, that maybe the power differential is a little bit, it gets equaled out maybe a little bit more.
I do agree, Randy. I think it depends more on your angles, like ball reaction. I think one-handers are trained to be a little bit better with their ball reaction just because they don't have as much free power. That's definitely what I'm learning right now.
Wow, Fall leaves the 6-8, no 9-pin for Kyle. So another good break for the two-handers.
They quite possibly be maybe falling into some better ball reaction. Because when you're breaking up things, I like to believe that your ball reaction is a little bit better.
Sure, because when your ball reaction stinks, you don't break up anything.
Exactly.
Your carry stinks, you don't break up anything.
I personally don't believe in bad breaks. They all happen for a reason.
I thought that was good. Yeah. I thought it was good.
All right, so it's a tight game 3 as the two-handers must win to avoid being swept by the one-handers. They're getting some sweet shots from Chris Prather and Andrew Anderson, but the two-handers are fighting back. And tomorrow, the NASCAR Cup Series rolls into Darlington with the best of the best battle it out on the Goodyear 400. The pre-race kicks things off at 2 Eastern. The green flag flying at 3 tomorrow on FS1.
You ever been in a NASCAR, Darren?
Not an official one, but I did get to ride in a pace car. It was really cool.
Let's welcome and say hello and thanks to Cassie and Stefan Heinen, the owners of HSG and Foxx View Lanes, where we are today. And that man right there is Pat Sinello, chairman of the board of QubicaAMF.
Got a chance to talk with Pat earlier, Dave, and it's great to see him once again. What a great man, proprietor down in South Florida, and some great things he's done in the sport.
And the PBA All-Star Weekend is powered by QubicaAMF's Edge String Pin Spotter. One-handers drawn by 2.
Go through it!
And there is the 7-pin that didn't fall this time.
We call that unlucky. Or do we?
Pack, you talked me into that.
How about AJ over there? He's getting outnumbered by two-handers.
Well, now that you've switched over, that's one less one-hander.
Yeah,
So,
I asked him if he wanted me to join him, but then it would have been 3.5 to 1.5.
Yeah, that's not.
That wouldn't have been fair either.
Nope. Boy, he took a game run at that.
It's Kevin Williams over there, John, at Prather.
No, not Kevin.
No, not Kevin. It could be never Kevin.
There's Kevin. Oh, Boo Kroll's over there. Yeah, you're right. AJ is completely outnumbered.
Here we go,
Oh, and a late kick on the 9 and a pretty shot from Chris, and the two-handers now have a nice lead.
Dave, that one was entry angle.
I feel like that's going to be a T-shirt for you guys to sell.
Oh, man,
that one was entry angle.
Should be. That's really something that everyone at home should be paying more attention to, is how your ball's hitting the pins. Because that's going to tell you a story. That story is going to tell you what's going on in the lanes, and then that's going to tell you what you got to do to throw some more strikes. And just as we were talking about entry angle, lack thereof.
Yeah, and it shows up a lot more with these edge string machines than it does on the free fall. The flattest of sevens.
The flattest of seven. The urethane 7 potentially?
Yeah.
And he does pick it up, but the two-handers in a position they have not yet been in today.
Trailing.
No, leading.
Oh, I'm sorry. One-handers trailing for the first time. Last time they trailed was game 1, frame 3.
So it's been a while.
We got a pretty big moment here for Belmo. If you can get a strike here on the board.
And he did. I actually watched Jason. I didn't watch the ball go through the pins. I wanted to see what he thought of the shot, and he was staring that one down all the way.
Sometimes you know just based on the player. I think he knew.
He posted that absolutely beautifully, as he does so well.
And only his third strike of the afternoon.
Pretty much a must strike now here for Andrew Anderson. And he comes through.
Nice shot.
Certainly keeps him in the match.
Matt Ogle 7 spare in this game. And powerful hit.
So that looked like, to me, a two-handed kick on the 10.
We're there, baby. We're there.
I almost feel like the strings kind of diluted how much power could have been unleashed there, honestly.
Yeah, like maybe 20 or 30 RPM less, and that 10 doesn't go.
Possibly, yeah. Because I'm used to watching Ogle snap those 10 pins pretty hard, and that one wasn't as convincing as the normal slap 10.
Earlier this year, you saw EJ win his 3rd straight World Championship. Whoa, didn't see that coming.
Looks like game 4 coming up. Yeah, he won the World Championship and successfully defended his Shark Championship. Pretty much dominated everything at the World Series. But interestingly enough, Darren, not one two-hander won at the World Series. Our 3 international players all use their thumb.
Man, I feel like that's such a tough one to judge because there's so many different players, so many different styles, and the format is almost as random as it gets. So I don't know.
Because lack of qualifying games?
I think not lack of qualifying games, but just the bracket format itself. Like anybody can win a 3-game match or win 3 games in a match. So not to take away from everybody that won and made shows, but it just makes it a little more random.
43 now heading in the 10th. We are going to go to game 4.
Well, had a flying messenger, but not that close to the 7-pin.
Another messenger in front. I don't think we've seen a messenger yet today.
No, I actually
Seen
saw
some
one,
light mixers.
saw one on the practice pair, which was impressive. But that may have been the only one I've ever seen on strings.
Was that the left practice pair or the right practice pair?
Oh, God, there's only a left and a right lane over there. It's not 2 different pairs, so it was the right lane.
Then we will have a 4th game with the two-handers picking up their first, so the one-handers still have a 2-game-to-1 lead, or a 2-point-to-1 lead. Graham looks like he wants to try something out.
I think this is smart because the urethane ball looks like it's getting a little tired, which means it took an early bailing down lane. You saw it from Butters, you saw it from Graham right there, so I think this is a really smart play.
I think you're right. Wow.
Entry angle. If there's one thing to take away from today, entry angle.
So Kyle will finish this off. We'll see if he decides maybe to change a ball. He's been using that same ball today, but They've already got the game in hand.
Yeah, there's that two-word saying again.
Entry angle.
Just throwing softballs over the middle of the plate to you, Darren.
You got to tee him up for me. It's my first time.
Teeing him up.
Got to tee him up. Just let me hit the ball.
So game 4 is coming as the two-handers dominate the one-handers in game number 2. They get off the mat game number 3, I should say. So we will not have a sweep. We will have at least a 4th game. Kyle Troop will put this to bed once and for all. This game is history. We will continue with the one-handers versus the two-handers here at PBA All-Star Weekend, powered by Cubica's AMF Edge String Pin Spotter.
More strikes in game 3 for the two-handers than the first two games combined.
Well, they had a nice clean game, which is not happening early.
Momentum's big in the Baker game, so let's see if this is enough of it to push it to a tie.
Well, Darren, we're going to cut you loose. We're so grateful for your time and for your insights, folks. One last time, Darren, it's all about
entry angle.
There you have it.
I appreciate it, Dave.
Thanks, Darren.
Thanks for having me.
Game 4 coming up. Two-handers are on the board. All right, game 4 about to begin here, just outside of Milwaukee, and the frame of the game is presented by Beatbox.
Well, the two-handers really came on strong here in game 3. More strikes in that game. 10 all told, throwing the last 7 in a row to capture game 3, 257-193, sending this to a game 4.
Kyle Troop got the last word with this beauty. And now a suddenly confident group of two-handers wanted me to tell you the frame of the game is presented by Beatbox, the ultimate party in a box. Beatbox, what's your flavor? Please enjoy responsibly. Again, our thanks to Darren Tang, who joined us for a couple of games, brought in some cool insights. And here we go, right to it. Game 4, lineup change for the one-handers. Chris Vai now leading off. Well, we have seen 2 times, Randy, that 2A10 get knocked down.
Too steep?
Yeah. Not this time.
Pick it up. Yeah, that got out there.
Again, both teams changing lanes.
We're on the far left this time.
One-handers have changed their lineup.
And the one-handers actually the ones who changed their lineup. And moving to the top of the batting order, Graham Fa, Jacob Buttriff holding on to number 2. Chris Prater's now 3rd. Andrew Anderson 4th and 9th. And E.J. Tackett is now Ron Burgundy.
The anchor man.
He invented the wheel.
Ball stays with the urethane.
Yeah, that's another debate about the string pin situation here, Randy. Is the equipment, do you think differently about the equipment you throw now?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I think that when the urethane starts to burn up and kind of lose some of its steam down lane, I think it shows up faster with the string pins. I think you start to see a little more weak 7s, the weak 10s for righties.
So what happens if Jason Belmonte's team ties this thing up? If tied after 4 games, the match will be decided by a 3-frame shootout. Captain's choice, of course, as to who will be involved in that.
Aggregate score, 3-player from both sides.
Or the one-handers could just remove all need for that with a win. Oh, goodness me. That is the solidest of solid nines. That is just an iceberg. Unusual to see him kind of fall off a little bit there. Maybe a problem with the approach. Looked like he's stopped.
That was good.
There's your answer. You forgot what he was doing. All right, let's see who lights the lamp first.
Back-to-back southpaws to start things off for the one-handers.
Ooh, that's through the nose. Urethane.
Looked like he missed in.
Yeah.
This is a miss right and up the lane.
Well, we haven't seen a lefty shoot at this 2-4-7 yet. We've seen a bunch of 3-6-10s. And he takes care of it.
Just enough of the 4-pin.
That was a dead yank.
Well, there's your answer. He admitted it was all his fault. Say over the last 3 or 4 years, you'd have to put Matt Ogle in among the most improved players on the PBA Tour.
I agree. Oh my goodness, 4-9 with the 10?
I don't know what you want me to do about that.
I agree with you, Matt.
Can I get that envelope back?
Wow.
What do you want me to do, go for this?
Bunch of wide-eyed players on that two-handed bench right now.
Well, you saw one of the pins split the 9-10. Well, let's see what we got. Slide it now, wide left, and a major open frame. A strike here for the one-handers, and they will be in a very advantageous position.
And lost count. Big open.
Let's see what Chris has got going on here. Ooh, and he got a big break.
See the 4 falling late. Now that lead by Ogle, you can leave that on free fall pins. So I don't want the folks at home to think that, well, that was just a string pin thing.
Yeah, it's an odd leave for sure. But yes.
But I've seen it.
Yeah.
Seen it before.
Lane Talk telling us 98% conversion for the pros. 98 point. Oh my gosh. 97.9% now. Holy cow.
I would have lost a lot of money on that bet. One of the few players out here that shoots single pin spares with the same ball he uses for his strikes.
Holy cow. Well, there we have our first strike of the game. It comes from Tim Foy Jr.
5 game left.
Remember, game 3, the two-handers had 10 out of 12. And now just their first strike, frame 4 of game 4.
Yeah, I'd say so, Andrew. Yeah, once again, I watched the player for the reaction, and you could see him, you could hear him say pretty good.
Great touch on that shot. Yeah, he's got great hand and ball roll. And again, we talked about it earlier. Now he's got confidence, and it shows.
Well, when you get nicked up, it hurts your confidence if you're not bowling as well when you're trying to bowl through an injury, as Andrew did and others have done. And he's healthy, and it shows. A hair high?
Yeah, it is. They've got to keep chasing it in and try to find a little bit more oil in the center part of the lane.
We are bowling on a 42-foot pattern.
And that's a plastic spare ball for Troop. Keep in mind, halfway through game 4, a lot of rev rate out there, right? The players, all 10, well, all 8 of 10 playing the middle part of the lane, they're going to beat that part up. Only 2 southpaws, both on this man's team right here, E.J. Tackett.
Captain Tackett.
That's got a hook. Oh, my.
Oh, Captain, my captain. E.J. Tackett gets a heavy hitting mixer. And the one-handers get a little closer to grabbing that trophy right here in the first 1 versus 2-handers on string pins. Bowling TV history in progress. PBA All-Star Weekend powered by QubicaAMF Edge String Pin Spotter. And registration for the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships now open to bowlers of all skill levels. The PBA LBC National Championship is returning to the Chicago area and includes a division for everyone. You can compete in singles and optional doubles and team events. Even combine your scores with pros. Enter today at PBA.com. To the interview section we go. Kimberly with Jason Belmonte.
Jason, you guys need to put some strikes together. What adjustments do you make in the second half to get that done?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to really put together a very solid last half of this game because I don't see the other boys letting us in. But after the first shot on that left lane, we're able to probably have a little, chat with each other, make some very small changes, but hopefully good changes. So we'll see how the second half goes. But we're still in this. We've still got a chance. Just need to get a little love from these strings down there.
And from this crowd. Good luck to you guys.
All right, thank you, JB, for that. And Kimberly, thank you. Of course, there's our score. You see through 5, 2-handers down by 22 with Chris Vai up. And he had an open 2-8-10, as a matter of fact. And this time, the 3-6-7-10, something we've kind of been waiting on.
But you see, he moved deeper. He altered his approach, but did not give enough angle to that shot. Goes right through the nose, leaving the 3-6-7-10. Just like that, cut that 3 over into the 7.
34% batting average here. Fly that 3, and he's wide right. That's 3 open frames in this game. And the 2-handers, unfortunately, have gone back to the way they were scoring early. They had 10 strikes, as Randy mentioned, at game number 3, which was more than their first 2 games combined, and they have slipped again. And Graham Foss got a chance to kick the door down here a little bit. This would be a 3-bagger for the one-handers, who lead 2-1.
Urethane 7. Urethane 7. He tried the reactive ball last game to finish on his fill shot. Looked
Killed
great.
it. Yeah.
Came ripping around the corner. Stays with the urethane. Huh.
Newman. Well, there wasn't opportunity there to cause some hurt. By the way, don't forget tomorrow, we're not going to see a lot of single pins in the strike derby. That'll be coming up tomorrow on FS1 at 12:30 Eastern time. That'll be frantic.
Well, fresh off of their Game 3 257, two-handers are in big trouble.
Almost last shot, unless they tie it up at 2-2. Oh, we got just a little nick on the 10, but not enough to take it down.
That was a good 3 boards right down lane. Vi's last shot on that lane. Only to leave that stubborn bugger.
Hang on. It did.
Hard to catch up if you don't strike.
187's the winner.
He's going to need help now. And the one-handers are going to have to give this back, it looks like.
So after 10 strikes, game 3, 1 strike, 3 open frames, lost count here in game 4 for the two-handers.
I feel like a double here for the one-handers might be fatal for the twos.
Oh, man. Just enough. If that 15-pounder weighed 14 and a half, the 5-pin doesn't go.
He ran out of there like, I better, before the pins change their minds, I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah.
Not really sure what I'm supposed to do here.
Throw a strike.
Good call, Dave. I like that strategy. Yeah.
Thank you. It seemed to me like the only answer, but I don't want to be rude. Oh, boy.
Is that the 3rd time we've seen the 3, 6, 7, 10?
And several 3, 6, 10s and 1, 2, 4, 7 for the lefties to represent. Got a chance now. No, thought that might. Oh, man, it is getting worse by the moment.
This is our bad lane.
Game 4 is going to be 100 pins south of what they shot in game 3.
Yeah, that's the Century Club you don't want to be.
Come on.
And now they're sending in the shark.
All right. Going to take a bite out of the two-handers. Gorgeous.
Hey! Does it count? All right.
That looked to me like it counted, Chris. Let's take a nice hard look on the 6-pin, second from the right.
Oh, yeah.
6-pin got it.
Not even close.
There it is. Kick save on the 10 and a beauty.
Oh, God.
One more? One more? You really don't want to hear that come out of a bowler's mouth.
151, Jay?
What? Oh, no?
Oh, God.
Or that?
I believe is what he said, yeah.
I'll shoot it. Can I shoot it? Shoot it? All right.
I truthfully don't think it's going to make any difference.
No, but apparently the 6-pin was put back up.
Was that 8 or 9?
It didn't fall correctly. I'm not sure if it was 8'd, and that's why they put it back up.
Sure. I think this one's just about wrapped up.
But it's pretty much over.
Yeah, Andrew Anderson just announced that to the crowd.
Actually, they're coming back saying it was a 9 count.
Okay.
So what's the great debate, Dave?
1 versus 2. Did we solve anything today?
Did we solve anything? Did we get anywhere with this debate in this sport?
Well, let's look at 2025's results. That's ultimately what matters, right? Who's winning? And at the moment, the two-handers just have the 1 victory. The one-handers in every, even right or left. Graham Faw with a one-handed win from the left side in Delaware.
A couple of years ago, everybody was talking like how long before no one uses their thumb again in this sport?
Yeah, but look at some
5 years,
of
10 years down the road. How long?
Look at some of the guys who are having great seasons. One-handed, Bill O'Neill, contender every week. Dom Barrett has bowled very well lately, another classic stylist.
Yep.
There's still room in this game for the one-hander, and this weekend may have proven that. Also, this was an audition nationally for string pins. I'm sure there are some bowlers who haven't had that opportunity yet. This hopefully will increase their interest in that in case their center changes to string pins. We talked about the advantages of string pins. And that is just
127.
Yeah. Well, you know what happened here? The one-hander strung him up by the thumbs.
My bad.
Ouch.
I know we're putting a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah. Well, I thought that one was going to be it.
The Pins thought so too. Yes, it definitely.
So the score a point in the debate for the one-handers today.
That lane on the left did not look good for the two-handers in Game 4. It hooked a lot. They moved in, tried to chase it. Never worked out for them.
Well, those 3 lanes are going to be in action when you tune into the Strike Derby tomorrow. It's going to be Strike Derby on 3 lanes. It's going to be as much, I think, a test of your conditioning and endurance in the Strike Derby to do as many strikes as you can in 2 minutes on 3 lanes. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch that. Get the defibrillator out.
Oh, guess who's in the Strike Derby? Him.
Way to go, boys.
Good job. Nice job.
It's a 3-1 one-handers victory. The two-handers just had one good game, and it was a wonderful game. But the rest of the time, they had a difficult time with the lane conditions. And a one-handed team that was just better. This is the moment of the match brought to you by Pilgrims. Chicken can be boring, but Pilgrims is turning chicken nuggets upside down. I love it. You love it. Put it in a nuggets.
How sick. Where you want it?
Nice.
All right,
Cheers,
and
boys.
Kimberly is standing by with Captain Tackett.
We have the entire team here, but EJ, let's start off with you because you were the captain first time ever of the team, and you actually put your lone lefty in the anchor position, but for this last game, you decided to put yourself there. Why?
Graham had a great look, and we thought his ball reaction was really safe, and obviously Graham's great under pressure. He's been really good. He's won a PBA league, and we believed in what he was doing, and I think a little bit of oil got down lane with that urethane ball, and thought it best to take him out of that position. And Andrew and I talked about it. We both really liked our ball reaction on that right lane, and we kind of just basically flipped a coin between either one of us. I didn't think it really mattered.
Well, you guys are winners, so obviously you guys like the string pins.
Yeah, I mean, I have them in my bowling center, so it's like being at home for me.
Now, there is a lot of talk about one-handed versus two-handed. So, Andrew, this question is going to go to you. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at youth bowling now and bowling in general, two-handed bowling is really taking a huge stand. I'm always going to bowl one-handed. I try it two-handed. I'm no good at it. They say it's easy. It's not. Nothing. They made it look a little tougher that last game. But, yeah, I'm in favor. I'm in favor in whatever is good for bowling. And I think one- and two-handed is good for bowling. So I'm here for it.
Well, congratulations, because the one-handers take the win today.
And convincingly, 3 games to 1. Kimberly, thank you very much. Congratulations to EJ and his guys. Well, last fall, Jesper Svensson won the 2024 PBA Elite League Strike Derby when he beat Andrew Anderson. 12 strikes for Jesper in 2 minutes to Anderson's 11. That's the kind of frantic pace that these guys are going to have. Now, fans voted these guys in, and of course, it matches up with their brand as well. So it's EJ, Jason Belmonte, Brunswick, Packy Hanrahan, Ryan Barnes. I'd keep an eye on that guy if I were you. Chris Prather, Jesper Svensson is back as the defending champion. And it's just, okay, you got a strike, and you got to get another one, except we're using 3 lanes. You've got 2 minutes to get them down, and of course, we'll be on the string pins as well. So that adds another fascinating element to it. So yes, conditioning will play a part. get your bed rest tonight, gentlemen. That is tomorrow. Today, this one-handed group celebrates their victory in the first one versus two-handers here at PBA All-Star Weekend, powered by Cubica's AMF Edge String Pin Spotters. The All-Star Weekend continues tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern on FS1 with the Strike Derby right here in Waukesha from Foxx View Lanes. Coming up next, live coverage of Live Golf Miami, round 2. For Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler, Darren Tang, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you so much for watching the PBA on FS1. See you tomorrow.